Hello everyone, Mr. Lipchick here, and our discussion today will be on the qualifications for the presidency. Presidential qualifications. There are both formal and informal requirements for serving as the president. Formal requirements are listed in the Constitution. Informal requirements are not listed, but have usually been the case of most presidents in our history. Many people meet the formal requirements, but few meet the informal requirements. Article 2, Section 1 of the Constitution requires that a president must be a natural-born citizen of the United States, at least 35 years old. They want the person to have a mature temperament, to be a wise individual, a resident of the United States for at least 14 years before assuming office, and the same requirements apply for the vice president. These are the formal requirements of the office. Among the informal requirements to hold the office of president is government experience. Since 1968, only 5 major party candidates for the presidency did not have this. Since 1868. Since 1900, candidates who have served as senators and governors have had the most success getting elected. President Eisenhower did not have government experience. However, as a famous general, he had public recognition that goes with these offices. To the right, you see a picture of Mitt Romney. Many people believe that his lack of government experience, or his limited government experience, having only served as a one-term governor, did contribute to his defeat to Barack Obama in 2012. Access to large amounts of campaign money is also an informal requirement. Running for the presidency takes millions of advertising dollars. Obama raised $745 million in campaign funds for his first election. Candidates can only spend a certain amount of their own funds in order to qualify for federal matching funds. The government will provide a certain amount if you spend under a certain amount. The federal government will match funds in order to try to limit the influence of large contributions. Campaign finance reform is a major political issue. It is felt by many that the need for large sums of money to run for office is a corrupting influence on the office itself. In 2008, President Obama did a spectacular job of raising money by soliciting small donations from millions of supporters over the internet, something the Republicans did not do very well. Political beliefs are also an informal requirement. It is unlikely for any candidate who is extremely liberal or extremely conservative to get elected to the office. In the early part of the 20th century, there were socialist candidates in every election, but none of them came close to winning. Generally speaking, most voters are in the middle and do not like extremes. In the election of 1912, Eugene Debs, who was a socialist, won 5.99% of the popular vote, and interestingly, he did so while in prison. It was widely believed by many people that he was being persecuted for his beliefs, and there was a great deal of poverty, and there was a lot of people who favored socialism at the time. So candidates are aware of this and will avoid extreme positions even if they personally believe in them. Personal characteristics have historically been an informal requirement for the presidency. Most presidents have been white men of Northern European background who were from the middle class. Obama was the first non-white president to be elected in the United States. Most have been Protestant. Protestants collectively outnumber Catholics in the United States and other religions. Many Protestants feared that a Catholic president would be more loyal to the Pope than to the people. John F. Kennedy, or JFK, was the first and only Catholic president in the nation's history. There have been no Jewish presidents or presidents of other faiths, although there have been major leaders in other countries of other faiths. So why do you think religion plays such an important part in the choices of U.S. voters? Religion is a very funny thing. Okay, it is, people kind of have underlying prejudices and beliefs about it that maybe consciously they're not aware of, but come from their upbringing and very early religious teachings. No women have held the office of the presidency. This is primarily because there are many stereotypes about women in the United States, or have been historically, although this is changing. Geraldine Ferraro was the first female vice presidential candidate in 1984. Some believe that the Democratic Party only let her run because they knew her running mate, Walter Mondale, would lose the presidential race to Ronald Reagan. So it was a way of saying, look at us, look how progressive we are, but at the same time, not actually having any desire to see her win the race. But demographic changes are beginning to change this outlook for women who are running for office. Hillary Clinton was the first major party candidate for the presidency who was female, and the Democratic superdelegates, however, voted against her, although she was ahead in the polls. The willingness to experience personal growth is also an informal requirement. The presidency brings out an individual's internal strengths and weaknesses. When FDR died in office, Harry Truman became the president and had to decide whether to drop the atomic bomb on Japan. He knew that hundreds of thousands of Japanese civilians would die, but he also knew that over 1 million U.S. soldiers would die if there was an invasion of Japan. And Truman decided to drop the bomb and took responsibility for his decision. Truman's famous saying was, "The buck stops here." The difficult decisions a president must make take a physical toll, as you can see in these pictures. Presidents frequently look very aged after their first and second terms of office. The stress of the office does this to them. Excuse me. That concludes our discussion on the qualifications for the presidency. Thank you for viewing, and I look forward to seeing you in the live lessons. Have a great day.